Last night, I dreamt I went to Mandalay again.
This is the opening line of Rebecca, the 1940 Academy Award-winning film directed by Alfred Hitchcock and adapted from a novel of the same name. The film, which could be classified as a romantic drama or thriller, follows the life of Maxim de Winter and his new bride, who is never named other than to be called Mrs. de Winter. However, more importantly, the film follows the mysterious death of Maxim's previous wife, Rebecca, and the manner in which every other character, especially Danvers, the head housekeeper and previously close confidant of Rebecca, seems to hold some sort of obsession with her. Aspects of the film, such as the mise-en-scène, camera angle, and non-diegetic sounds, help to establish this obsession and create the film's ominous mood. One aspect of the mise-en-scène that contributes to these ideas throughout the film is the reoccurring images of water. Throughout the film, depictions of the sea and raging waves are shown. At times, these images are accompanied by Maxim or Mrs. de Winter and often evoke a feeling of danger. For example, after revealing her costume to Maxim, Mrs. de Winter looks over the sea with Danvers in Rebecca's room. In this scene, there is an overarching feeling of Rebecca's presence, and the waves, redolent of Rebecca's brutal death, the dress she previously wore, the room, and in Danvers' words, urging Mrs. de Winter to jump.
You've nothing to stay for. You've nothing to live for, really, have you? Look down there. It's easy, isn't it? Why don't you?
This scene highlights Rebecca's impact and shows the many ways in which her influence is still alive. Another effective tool for creating the film's ominous mood and underlining Rebecca's impact is the camera angle, and in this case, medium close-ups. The employment of medium close-ups throughout the film serve to accentuate each character's emotions and, in turn, accentuate how powerful Rebecca's presence was and still is. This idea is most apparent in the scene where Danvers shows Mrs. de Winter Rebecca's room and personal belongings which have been kept exactly as she left them. As Danvers shows Mrs. de Winter Rebecca's belongings and describes life serving Rebecca, close-ups are used on Mrs. de Winter. This shows Mrs. de Winter's fear of Rebecca's remaining control and unease over the extent of Danvers' obsession with Rebecca.
I wonder if she doesn't come back here to Mandalay. Watch you and Mr. De Winter together. You look tired. Why don't you stay here a while and rest?
In addition, this scene reveals the extent of Danvers' devotion to and obsession with Rebecca, as it is shown how she held and still holds Rebecca in such reverence and maintains her room and all of Mandalay to Rebecca's standards, even after her death. Furthermore, one of the most effective means of producing this mood and emphasizing the force of Rebecca is the use of non-diegetic sound in the form of music. In nearly every scene, the tone created by the mise-en-scène and camera angle is stressed by the music. This is evident in the scene where Maxim de Winter drives his new bride, Mrs. de Winter, to his home Mandalay. In this scene, the background music changes from an upbeat, jaunty tune as we see the newlyweds drive up to their home to something more menacing as Mrs. de Winter is introduced to Danvers for the first time.
I didn't expect the whole staff to be in attendance.
Mr. Danvers' orders, sir.
Oh, sorry about this. Won't take long. This is Mrs. Danvers.
How do you do? How do you do? I have everything in readiness for you.
That's very good of you. I didn't expect anything.
I think we'd like some tea, Frith.
Ready in the library, sir.
Come along, darling.
This scene highlights the shift from life away from Mandalay, where the couple met free from Rebecca's influence, to life at Mandalay, where Rebecca's power is alive still in the house, Danvers' obsession, and the sea. The mise-en-scène, use of medium close-ups, and non-diegetic sounds create the film's monotonous tone and impress the extent of Rebecca's influence even after death. These techniques emphasize the idea that Rebecca will always be alive, in spirit and memory at least, at Manderley, and lead to the only logical ending for Maxim de Winter and Mrs. de Winter to be able to go on together: the burning down of Manderley and Danvers along with it. This leaves the newlyweds with nothing but memories of Manderley, free at last of the control of Rebecca.